I'm Peter Cook. Welcome back to Capital Gains. One of the things we learned in 2012, the Affordable Care Act will remain the law of the land. The president's election victory and a Supreme Court ruling guaranteed Obamacare's survival. Now, as we enter 2013, key parts of the law starting to kick in. Thanks to Obamacare, wealthier Americans will ring in the new year with a tax hike. For anyone making more than $200,000 a year, the taxman will levy a new 3.8% tax on investment income and a 0.9% increase in Medicare taxes. Medical device makers get hit with a 2.3% excise tax on every sale. Also in January, the 18 states hoping to operate their own marketplaces where the uninsured can shop for coverage will learn if their exchanges pass Washington's test. The rest will have to count on Uncle Sam to run their exchange. In March, we'll see the first test of the computers that will form the backbone of the system, helping to determine things like eligibility and subsidy amounts. Glitches could pose real problems. In October, the 30 million plus uninsured can start shopping and buying their coverage. Fast forward to January 2014, the exchange is open for business, Medicaid expands to cover more people, and the individual mandate kicks in, requiring all Americans to carry health insurance or face a penalty. For more on what we can expect from Obamacare in 2013, we want to bring in Bloomberg Government healthcare analyst Chris Flavelle and Matt Berry, and thanks to both of you for being here. Matt, let me begin with you. Sure. 2013, things are starting to kick in. The federal government, the states, are they really ready?
I think that the real challenge here is whether they can move from the controversy of Obamacare to real concrete steps going forward in 2013. I think there's a lot of question marks there because there's so many administrative pieces to this machinery that have to get put in place over the next 6 months, 12 months. 10 months from now, they have to start enrolling people into insurance exchanges. They have to have all the insurance provisions in place. They have to have all the ways to adjust for risk and how you're going to pay insurers, to inform consumers. The IRS has a huge task on its hand in trying to determine how to actually determine whether people are eligible for services. I honestly have some serious question marks of whether or not they're going to be able to pull this off or not.
And Chris, let me ask you about the states that are signing up. We got 18 states that are going to operate their own exchanges. You know, that's a lot fewer than some people had anticipated. The federal government's going to run the rest. What should we make of that participation rate? What does that tell us?
Well, it's probably too soon to make conclusions about the actual impact on the exchanges. There's going to be 50 exchanges. Someone's going to run them. It's not clear to me that a federally run exchange will be that different from a state-run exchange. I think if you were somebody enrolled in the exchange, you might not see the difference. I think insurance companies probably prefer states to set the rules because they're probably easier to influence. But the big question for the federal government is, of course, as Matt said, will this work? If it works well, federal government looks good. It doesn't, federal government looks the worst than the states. So I think if you're the federal government, you might see some advantage in having more control over the exchanges because you're the one who's on the hook for them to work.
And what about, again, from in the insurance company perspective, the healthcare providers right now, what are their question marks in 2013? The exchanges, they will start taking people in October, but they don't really open for business until 2014. What are their question marks?
So look at the healthcare law as one big bargain between payers and providers. The government said to providers, we want to get more money out of you in terms of taxes or reduced payments. In return, you get more patients who have insurance. So hospitals, doctors, drug makers, they're saying, well, will that actually work, especially with Medicaid becoming more optional at the Supreme Court? So hospitals and doctors are now looking at whether what they were told and promised with new beneficiaries will actually come true. For hospitals, if they don't have as many paying customers as they were told, they stand to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, in that transition period for sure. Matt, let me ask you about Medicaid. This is a key component here, the expansion of Medicaid to cover lower-income Americans, more of them out there. Question marks about that as well and how that's going to work?
A lot of states were hesitating to expand their Medicaid programs. I really think the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut may have changed the dynamics of the politics there, because Medicaid is the largest single payer for mental health services in this country, and there's some estimates that suggest that in the people who would be included in the expansion of Medicaid, over 2 million of those people have some form of mental illness.
Biggest question mark you have heading into 2013 for Obamacare?
Oh, for sure it's Medicaid. How many states will sign up? That is so important for providers right now.
All right. Chris Flavelle, Matt Berry, thanks to both of you. We'll be watching Obamacare closely through the course of 2013. And when we come back here on the program, the size and role of government has dominated the debate this year, but history shows it stretches back in time. We'll give you a historical perspective before we ring in the new year.